Hey guys, today I want to give you a little overview on how Genesis 2 changed the breeding of animals for us and in many cases even made it easier. Genesis 2 is out for a few weeks now and everyone who bought the DLC had the chance to get used to the game mechanics that are introduced and to integrate them in their daily play. But how does it change the way you breed? And what do all these changes mean for you as a breeder? How can we improve our old breeding lines and how can we make it as smooth as possible? We're looking at it now. A little disclaimer before I start with the video. I assume that you do know all the breeding mechanics that I'm talking about in this video. But if you need a little freshen up on what breeding mechanics I'm talking about, or if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I will link the videos in which I'm explaining those breeding mechanics in the description of the video. So if I talk about something, just check the description and there you will find the video that explains it in detail. But before we talk about the breeding mechanics, if you are new to this channel, please consider leaving me a sub, because then you will see content like this more often in your timeline. And it also helps me to see if you're interested in stuff like this, so I can make more videos that are a little bit more of an overview instead of like a particular tutorial. But now that we have that out of the way, let's check the new things that made life easier when you are a breeder. First, the level stat numbers are now available in the vanilla game without mods. In my breeding guide, I am talking about the level stat points a lot. And it is so much easier to work with those points instead of working with the raw stats. But without mods and without software like ARK Smart Breeding, you were not able to see those numbers. Well, until now, because with the incubator you have the chance to see the points on the eggs. For mammals we still need ARK Smart Breeding, but this is the first step of Studio Wildcard recognizing that these stat points exist and also giving us the chance to see them. I honestly still hope that we get like a small upgrade to HLNA, where HLNA also is able to show us the level points, so we do not need external software anymore. I'm going to link you my beginner's breeding guide, in which I'm explaining the stat points in detail so you know what it's all about. So check the description for the beginner breeding guide. Number 2, you can switch odd and even numbers without having to tame new creatures. This point, as little as it seems, is probably one of the best new things ever. Because if you use mutagen on one of your tamed animals, you get 5 points in life, stamina, weight and melee. Because 5 is an odd number, it will always flip the base level numbers into the opposite. So even numbers become odd numbers and odd numbers become even numbers. Even though farming mutagen is kind of a grindy thing, it's definitely worth it, because if you keep in mind how long it might take to get the perfect animal with a perfect odd or even stat, this saves you a lot of time. The reason why you want to take care that you have odd and even numbers is the following. You can have a maximum of 255 points on each stat, but if you have 255 points, you cannot level that stat anymore. And with certain stats, you still want to level them. So you have to stop at 245 points. But since you get 2 points with every mutation, you have to make sure beforehand if you have an odd or an even number. Because if you only get 2 points each mutation, you will end up with 253 points. But since we are going to min-max, we want to have 254 points. So we need to make sure the stat number we are starting with is an even number, so we can end on 254 in order to be able to level it again. If this is very confusing to you and you don't know what I'm talking about, then I'm going to link to you my complete breeding guide that I did a few months ago. And in this breeding guide, I'm going to explain you why you have to take care of the odd and even numbers, and I'm also going to show you an example, so that's easier to understand. Number 3, we do not have to hand feed babies anymore. Hand feeding of babies, of certain babies, and I'm not mentioning the Giga now, but I mean the Giga, was work. It was such an annoying work. And most players did not like to do this. And that's why on private servers people love to use S Plus with a nanny, because the nanny would take care of that. And unofficial people even went so far to set up feeding macros in order to not have to stand next to their dino babies all the time. That is not quite legal on official servers, but I can understand why people do it. The devs now acknowledge that it's not a fun game mechanic because with Genesis 2 they introduced the Mewing, and the Mewing acts like a baby feeding trough. And that makes life so much easier, especially for breeders who breed a lot of creatures at the same time. And if you want to see how the Mewing works and why you really want to have one of those cute platypus gliders, then check out the video I'm showing you now. It's also linked in the description, and you will get the complete full Mewing guide that tells you everything you need to know about the Mewing. Number 4, you can boost your own breeding modifiers outside of events or EVO events. Private servers always had the chance to set up their breeding modifiers as much and as high as they wanted to. Official servers had to wait for EVO events that also considered breeding, or they had to wait for the special events that are happening at different times in the year. Private servers usually do not get like EVO events or breeding events unless it's part of a special event. But now even unofficial private servers have the chance to boost their modifiers if they want to. Because with Genesis 2, world buffs were introduced, and you do these world buffs by completing missions. There are 3 missions in particular that you want to have a look at in order to make breeding a little bit faster for yourself. The first one is Bulldog Fetch. That one causes pregnancies only take half the time and eggs incubate in half the time. The next one is Mewing Poach, and the time between laying fertilized eggs or pregnancies is reduced by a quarter. The next one is Slide and Glide, and with Slide and Glide babies grow up twice as fast, and the time that you need for an imprint is reduced by 10%. And if you have an event going on at the same time, and even an EVO event, then you can stack those world buffs on top. So for breeders, Genesis 2 is the perfect map if you want to use your time efficient. And I'm German, I love efficiency, therefore Genesis 2 is the perfect map for me as well. All these changes made me personally very happy, and even though I did not implement those changes on my previous breeding service because I'm mainly playing on Genesis 2 at the moment, still I have a lot of fun on Genesis 2, but I am planning on integrating some of the things on my other breeding servers as well. But which Genesis 2 things made your life easier? What did you implement in your daily gameplay that makes you happy and that gets rid of annoying tasks in your game? Let me know in the comments, and if you have any questions or anything else you want to tell me, please tell me in the comments. Your comments are so worthy for me because I get so many video ideas just out of your questions and out of your suggestions. So go into the comments, let me know, and I'm really looking forward to. And now thank you for watching, and I hope I will see you in the next video. Have a good one, bye bye!